live on the YouTube podcast right now, bringing in a special guest, analyzing his team and seeing what's going on for the next game week. What's good, fellas? Gumzi, Dari, Keevo.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
Yeah, Keevo will bring in here, man, and I see like you have a nice pick differential. So we'll talk about that in this episode. We'll talk about your moves this weekend, and we'll make some picks and see what you're thinking about some of these fixtures. But before we jump into that, Gumzi, how was your game week? I seen a 16 back there. You like a cricketer, and what last week was 100 and that's out. No, it's
Stay. Consistency is the key. Consistency, slowly rising. They say the cream does rise to the top eventually.
Right.
Well, it taken a little while, but it rises in it.
That's an overall rank of. That's a senior.
That's a game week rank of 479, but my overall is 5 something.
Nice.
Before Oleman done start off a little too serious, and before we get all serious, we have a big guest here. And the first thing I want to say to the guest, welcome is the first thing I want to say. But
welcome.
Yeah, man. I already want to tell the guests I'm disappointed in a couple things already before we get into the serious things. Number one, I'm disappointed you're not saying don't want a car.
I was going to do that.
I think it's the background. It's the background. It's the background.
I'm disappointed in not in a car. Well, secondly, just I know if you're in somewhere you can stand up for somewhere. We see that jersey there because that's a big jersey I've won there. A big
Napoli?
Jersey.
Yeah, this is Napoli. This is for Maradona. It's for Maradona.
I grew up as a Serie A fan. First league before England and all that. So.
Big up.
So we can get serious. Welcome and let me do it.
I'm really serious. We'll talk about your squad diary before you.
I had 42 this week. Still.
What went wrong? Or what went right?
I had Sterling. Remember, I was debating Sterling or Rashford or Gundogan. I went Sterling. Right. That was fairly okay. Nothing else really went good. I bought in I had Watkins from before.
I know you was on Watkins the week before. You had him still, right?
It wasn't a great week. And now I have to worry about Kane being injured for this game week. So we're gonna probably talk about some striker replacements this week.
Right.
Yeah.
On my end, I had decent 50 for 52 or 53 on my end.
And you used the wild card. So
yes. So let me talk about the wild card as we on there. I was telling Gumzi before we even we jump on today, I used my wild card this week and it turned out because I went for Cancelo, I went for Stones, I went Gundogan, I brought in Fernandez thinking that he would have a good week, obviously. And I have a solid team that I could continuously rotate. I have Areola, who killed him on the bench. I have 16 points, solid on the bench, and that could have come on. But I had faith in Ings and Pope and these guys. So I like this core that I have here. With Kane, I can move around a few players, or I could put him on the bench and bring in Barnes for the next one and save the 2 transfers to move for the next week. So all in all, the 53 wasn't too bad. Not too bad. A small few arrows. Disappointed in myself with I had Creswell and I moved him down to Kufal to fit in Areola. And as you saw, he had a nice assist and he's on the set pieces. So disappointed I made that move, and I'm not gonna look to change that again. But what y'all think, Keevo? What you think about the early wildcard move? I mean, I don't know if it's early still. People consider it early, but the move I made.
The early wildcard move that move was made this match week or the week before?
This match week.
I thought for me, I would have taken the wildcard move the last week because I know there were so many double weeks, double games. So you'll be able to capitalize in making sure that all 11 players were playing twice. So I'm not sure why you went and did it late. But
his team wasn't a mess, Keevo.
Did you free hit for the double week, Darius?
Yeah, so this was the double week.
Maybe he had free hit before.
I free hit this week.
Okay. Well, that's not bad. That's not a bad option actually, because
I got Robertson out and I wanted to bring in a little bit more value for the thing. Robertson and Taylor was 2 more people I wanted to get out. The El Ghazi who wasn't playing, and so that was the reason why I did it this week. And I wanted to get I tired of seeing the Man City clean sheets, and I'm not a part of that.
Let me interrupt here. We discussing your team every week, and you have a distinguished guest here, and I want to see his team, and I want to ask him some questions.
That is true.
While we pull that up, how many years have you been playing Keevo?
This will be my 11th year.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Talk about it, your history.
I was in the days with Mido, when Mido was a big striker, and Amer Zaki and these people, and a man called my favorite player in that time was a man called Stephen Ireland, boy.
Oh, God.
Guaranteed.
Yeah.
Wow.
Guaranteed at 10, 15 points from Stephen Ireland.
Wow. Well, this is your squad right now. I like it. Gomzi, Gomzi's a Liverpool man, and they were saying before you're faithful for the money. How long you had money now?
Mane probably going on a month, to be honest, because I know he had a little drought. I gave him a 2-week break. Then he scored, and I said, all right, probably he catch himself. And usually I don't like to let people go until they produce now, right? Especially these high-priced players. I think they need to produce for me. You must produce for me and give me at least on average, if I have you for a month, you should give me at least 40 points for a month each game. So, when I realize there's a drought, then I can change out with somebody else who may be catching
That's for Bruno for me, boy. I ain't telling you, it's Qatar for Bruno. If I see Bruno, I'm not playing. So I guess, let break down the picks and what you felt went right there and what you was disappointed in some of the moves.
Okay, well, I brought in Tammy Abraham and Ziyech because I know Thomas Tuchel came in, and I've seen a trend where when I get a new fresh coach, there's a new energy within the team, right? Yeah. And there's always a big game where the new coach comes in and makes a statement. And I thought I could probably capitalize on that by bringing in some of the players. And I thought because, I don't know what's going on with Timo Werner, and I thought, Olivier Giroud playing last week was by the way, that right. Tammy would start now, right? So unfortunately, he didn't start, and I know Ziyech is probably the assist king right now in Chelsea. So I said, let me see if there's a Tammy Ziyech relationship to happen there, but it just didn't turn out for me in terms of that. I like the Cresswell and Antonio because I think West Ham finding form. I think West Ham are 4th right now, if I'm not mistaken, but in the top 6. And Cresswell, he gives those crosses easily to Antonio. So when Antonio finds form, you're good to go with at least getting at 10, 15 points from them. Grealish is a standard. For me, Grealish could give you 6 to 8 points all the time. So I always maintain Grealish. And Pogba has been finding form, right? So he played in the FA Cup and he scored, I believe. And he has been consistent in the team. So Pogba, he disappointed me this week, but I think it's just one of those weeks for him. And he will definitely catch form. And I'm thankful that I got Stones in last week. So Stones right now have about 33 points for me, right? So from last week and now, 33 points.
Oh, you had him last week?
Wow. I had him last week, boy. I had him last week. Wow. So, I think I'm going to keep him.
So let me get into some things. One of the things that I raised was Tuchel coming in. So a question for everybody, just what you guys think would happen with Chelsea now that Tuchel is there? We already hear Keevo. I see a lot of things on Twitter and stuff that, he's somebody who will rotate a lot. So would you guys, let me go to Gomzi first. Would you guys be bringing in Chelsea players? So what's your plans?
Well, based upon what I've heard about Tuchel, he seems to like the three at the back system. So I think players like Chilwell and maybe Reece James or Aspi could be useful players for Chelsea because they already have a solid defense. They got a clean sheet in their first game with him. So I think those wing backs in particular could really be a source of points to come.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw something on Instagram where somebody was breaking down his system. I mean, I would try to where the wing backs are pushing up in a further position, and the guys like the Havertz will come back to check in, and the wing backs push further. So, and I saw that, I was like, Chilwell could be in a good spot there. So, I like the risk that Keevo took because I feel like sometimes you have to take that black horse because look at his score, 52. Had Ziyech or two of them produced, I mean, he could have been on a 70-something, 80. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so,
I think Keevo was a little bit unlucky because I think Tammy had scored a hat-trick in the FA Cup.
Yes.
So you would think, the man in form, new
Right,
coach,
yeah.
you would play the man, So it was very
Yeah.
surprising. So
Right,
I think it was a risky try by Keevo, but
The upside was up there. I feel.
Yeah.
So question to Keevo then. Next 3 or 5 weeks, you gonna maintain Abraham and Ziyech in your team? You're planning to keep them in for a while or move them out?
I actually will keep Ziyech, right? I'm not sure about Abraham because Abraham has been inconsistent in terms of starting games, and I don't like to have anybody come in to play to get 1 point, right? So definitely, if I had to keep him, I may keep him on the bench just in case, and he produces, and probably one of my players doesn't play, and he could come in. But I don't think I'll have Abraham on the starting team for sure. But I think Ziyech may be consistent on the team now. And definitely he could get some assists from him, assists and goals, because he has that ability to do both. So I'll keep Ziyech for sure.
All right. I personally like the Antonio in your team, and I want to go to the next question now, coming off the fact that maybe you might not keep Abraham in your team, and I will go to you again first, Keevo, on this one. For me and my team, I have Bamford, and I kind of disappointed in him right now.
Right.
And then I have Keane, who might be injured. A lot of people had Vardy, they had to move out. So
Yeah.
we have a lot of problems, a lot of strikers. Calvert-Lewin now coming back in. So I don't know if you have the fixtures or anything in front of you, but let me just say the next 2, 3, 4 weeks coming up, who are the strikers you're looking to bring into your team to replace guys like if Kane out or Vardy out, or if you want to build somebody like me right now, I had to look for a Bamford replacement because I'm losing confidence in Bamford. Who are you looking at for the next 2, 3 weeks?
Well, I'm looking at Ollie Watkins because Ollie Watkins has been struggling in terms of best being unlucky now. He has scored like about 4 goals that have been called off, right? And then he started to produce with some assists and some goals in the past 2 weeks. So they play in Southampton. That could be a close game, right? So I'm expecting that Ollie Watkins might be able to produce for me if I want to buy. In terms of another striker, I think I'll probably bring back Vardy. Right, because Vardy has been consistent over the years, and we know that Vardy at some point will continue to produce. And they're playing Leeds, and Leeds is an attacking team, so Leeds will play a 4-4 game or a 5-4 game or a 3-2 game. So there's chance for somebody to score in a Leeds game. So I might put in Vardy if Vardy is
You sure he's gonna be back in time?
Well, you see that's the thing about some of these things. Like you always wonder. Like I had Rashford. And I thought Rashford was not ready to play.
Mind games like
the Vardy could be mind games. The first thing I thought about too was I watching his injury and he come back from that game and I was like, there could be mind games as well.
What about Kane? Is Kane mind games then?
They said Kane 2 ankles out.
Listen. Unless they amputate Kane legs, Kane could play. Kane could very well play next game.
Right.
Exactly.
So,
Darius
Gomsi, give me some options. We hear who Keevo looking at. Who you guys would look at for the next 2, 3, 4 weeks in the striker position?
Well, I have been bad lucky, as I would have mentioned before. I had Vardy last week. He got injured. I brought in Keane. Now he is injured. So most likely who I bring in this week will probably get injured.
Just tell me who you're bringing in first before I use my chance, sir. Please, because I fed up at the 1 point. It's only 1 point strikers again, right? True. Right?
So in terms of strikers that I'm looking at, Keevo mentioned one, Ollie Watkins for sure. I had him last week. I had him last week as my player to watch, and he scored. So he is one for sure. Your boy Calvert-Lewin, Everton side is more or less back. Calvert-Lewin is fit, and he has all his assets to support him, Digne and James Rodriguez and that kind of thing. So he's a good option as well. And of course, as Keevo again mentioned, Antonio. Antonio is in form. He's scoring goals. He is the spearhead of that West Ham team. So those are the 3 men who I think could take that game.
Looking at Antonio to replace Bamford. Darius, anybody on that Gomsi didn't call?
Yeah, on the note of I'm edging more towards Calvert-Lewin because of his players coming back. But as he started this season, I was telling Dari, with the Courier and Alan there, that is the engine of Everton. Not when you have Tom Davies and these kind of players, they're not going to be pushing the ball forward.
Correct.
And Alan is still with that injury. I was just check up to read if he's going to come back. If the Courier is back, I would say I would chance the Calvert-Lewin, but again, you're downgrading from Kane to Dominic Calvert-Lewin. So I don't think you're losing too much anyway. You're not taking a hit, so it's worth the gamble. But I would say this week, I would say the upside would probably be with DCL. I'm really disappointed in Bamford as well. And I see now he getting benched. So I see you have Rodrigo. You might be good with Rodrigo on your bench. No, Keevo, you have Rodrigo on your team.
Yeah.
So I feel he might be worth it. And he looking like he playing full game. So I feel like he might be a black horse for your card. I'm not sure his ownership right now. But in terms of that, the Arsenal-Manchester game could be a cagey affair. For Spurs, they might bring in Lamela and push Son up, sorry. I really don't see anybody who is worth, a hit for, except maybe DCL, just bring in DCL. And again, Chelsea is so much question marks. I think this is where we're going to separate who the managers are, who are going to bring in and manage your team with the money, It might be a situation where you're playing 5 in midfield now and push our next defender because defenders are giving their points. So
for me, I would be looking to downgrade. So I have Kane and I have Bamford. Both of them I kind of might want to get out. So I'd be looking at the DCL, the Antonio. I want to throw out one more name. Nobody call, and I'm guessing for the reason of probably rotation. Anybody would consider Cavani?
It's too touch and go with Cavani in terms of how Solskjaer is playing in right now. So I feel as though Cavani is more FA Cup starter and league bench and probably come up for 20 minutes. So I don't know if I'll put trust in Cavani. I just want somebody to play at least 70 to 75 minutes for me. So I will miss that.
So last question on this topic for you guys before we move on to the next one. Sticking with strikers. So a lot of people will be removing Keane, they'll be removing Vardy. Now, we see in the last game weeks, especially in the double game week, defenders were like the high-scoring people. And then you have in the midfield Salah, Son, Bruno, Rashford, Sterling, Gundogan. So you guys think we could now put a lot of money in defense, a lot of money in midfield, and just have 3 cheap strikers? Anybody supporting that?
Yeah, for sure. I think no, given that all your high-price strikers kind of out injured and stuff like that, it is an easy, smart switch to go 3 cheap strikers on top and flood that money in defense, flood that money in midfield and get the real premium assets.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. It would make a lot of sense, and it separates the closeness of the league, because now everybody knows people will have the Kanes and the Vardys and whatnot in their team. So there's a sure points for almost everybody. But now you have to think a little more strategic in terms of who you're going to pick within the second tier strikers, right? Because there's more options. So now you're going to think, hey, do I pick this one? And that could separate you. And you can probably propel yourself.
I have one more for you guys. One more, and then we'll leave the strikers. Anybody? Well, look at this schedule. So the next 2 games are difficult. Chelsea go back up. Chelsea and Man City. But after that, Burnley, Brighton, Palace, West Brom. Chris Wood.
Yeah.
Gomzi's chicken and said no. Let me hear you, Gomzi.
I love my Burnley, yeah?
I will not be caught dead buying a Burnley striker.
Never.
Right?
Never.
If you see me with a Burnley striker, know that somebody hacked my team, okay?
He might pack your account.
Exactly.
Right, next question, and I want to go with Keevo first. So you said off the air you are AC Milan fan.
Yeah.
And that's one of the teams I hate the most. I'm a Juve fan. But you said in the Premier League, in the Premier League, you would go to United, and I am the same. So
yeah,
I'll go with you first because I want to talk about a United player. We just found out today he's going on loan to West Ham. Jesse Lingard.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think David Moyes could counter them? And I want to ask you a question. Some me and Darius do all the time. We go over under. So I will start with you and then I'll go to the other guys. Jesse Lingard for the rest of the season. 3 goals, 3 assists for West Ham. Over or under?
Over.
And just talk about him as a United man. Where you think he could bring to West Ham?
He is. I think he's versatile in terms of where he could play. In the midfield. He comes with experience. He has won trophies already. He does have that pedigree if he's on form. And I think what he needed was probably a lot more consistent time, right? There's a lot of competition within the United ranks right now, and Jesse just was not that standard. So now you have West Ham, the team that allows him to probably I wouldn't say be a leader per se, but just come with some experience and pedigree. And I definitely think he could be dependable because he worked with David Moyes before, and because he has a little bit of pedigree coming from Man United. It could allow him to probably catch some form. You never know. I think, you know, for sure.
Let's see, gun dance. You gonna dance? I would love West Ham to have more dynamics to their game, but I feel like their problem is more creativity in the middle of the park. Yes, the Lanzinis and them fellas, they're nice and small tunes, but you see what NWA do today? That kind of beast mode in midfield is something that they're missing, that explosiveness, a strong black man in the middle. So, so they don't have that. So I really don't see much impact. But as Keevo said, I'm optimistic. I like to see players shine, you know. So I would love to see him do well.
Gomzi, the front player. Arsenal bring in.
I wish you asked me about Lingard. I will not.
We went to Arsenal. We went to Arsenal and they brought in from Real Madrid. Arsenal brought in from Real Madrid Martin Odegaard. Thoughts on him?
6 million.
What you could bring to the Gunners?
Well, I mean, Odegaard is talented. I mean, a few years ago, maybe about 5 years ago, it was a big competition to who could sign him, and eventually he went to Real Madrid. He went there very early, didn't get much playing time, went out on loan. He did so well on loan that Real Madrid decided, listen, we need to bring this man back and give him a chance. They didn't really give him a chance, but his talent is there for anybody to see. As to whether he's an FPL worthy player, at his price point, you can't go wrong, 6 million. But I would definitely be in the wait and see camp, because you don't want another Danny Ceballos where you have that rating and then you realize they don't really
jump in, Keevo, jump in. You're shaking here, jump in.
No, I agree with you, because apparently the Real Madrid-Arsenal relationship don't go well, because Danny Ceballos came in and Danny did not produce at all. So I don't know, but I'm really happy to see the Norwegian collective, because, you know, you have from Dortmund, you have Haaland there. So there's a lot of Norwegian talent. So you can't deny the fact that this guy is a talented player. And if given consistent time, you have 19 games and some more to play, you never know if he could be the center like an Ozil for Arsenal. So just to wait and see. I agree with you, wait and see.
All right. Any other new players you guys have in mind before we go to the next topic? Any
I actually, finance? Just before we go into the picks, I would like to talk about big up Gomzi, because he called out Zaha in one of his picks.
Yeah, he was on point.
Some picks now. And I see Zaha turn up. Right? Zaha was an under the radar kind of player for Gomzi. He turned up, he showed up. So
Darius, besides Zaha, there was the Chelsea fans for the clean sheet. There was James Rodriguez for the goal. Even though you're fighting, man. You call it.
I
was just on fire.
He was on fire. So I saw everybody ready for the picks. So who are you looking at this week?
I'm gonna start with the guests. Keevo for this week. Run through the fixtures, and I want a must-have defender that everybody should have this week in the team.
All right. Let me just pull it up here.
Take your time.
In terms of, well, I think you should definitely have Stones in your team. If you don't have Stones, please get him, because we'll be playing Sheffield United this week, right? So
if you don't have Stones, you're pulling Stones.
Yeah, we anticipate either no goals, or more than likely Stones could probably give us something up top, right? Ooh. Because he probably finding form. He might be 2-3 goals in 5 games, right? Other defenders, I think.
Yes, one. Save someone for everybody. Save somebody.
All right, cool.
Go defender, must have this week.
I mentioned my boy Chilwell earlier. I have him, so I would like him to do something. So yeah, Chilwell for me.
Darius.
Cancelo fast.
I will go with Lucas Dean from Everton. So let me move to the midfield. Gomzi, you start us off. I must have midfielder this week.
Must have midfielder, boy. I would say, even though I don't like him much as a player, Sterling home to Sheffield United. With KDB going, he really had a lot of chances last game week, and I think he could probably catch some form now.
Darius.
if you have him on your team, make sure you start him. I feel like he could be a differential captain. I think in that Leicester Leeds game is going to be a lot of open space. So it's debate Maddison or Barnes. I'll leave more to Maddison because he only set pieces. So James Maddison is a player you should have on your team this week.
Yeah. I'll go with mine, and mine will also double up as my under the radar pick. And Keevo, in the meantime, while I'll give my pick later on, we want an under the radar pick, which is somebody who owned by less than 5% of people. So get that ready for me in the meantime too. But my midfield pick, and also doubling up as my under the radar pick, Matthias Pereira from West Brom. It's a 6-point battle against Fulham, bottom of the table teams. We saw what this guy could do in the double week. He had like 3 goals. He did everything for West Brom. So my midfield pick, Matthias Pereira. Keevo, your midfield pick, but look for under the radar for later.
Okay. My midfield pick is Son. Mainly because I know that more than likely Kane may not start. They'll put Son up top. So you might get plenty goals from Son this week.
All right. We'll go any forwards. Darius, you want to start?
Yeah. As we struggling for forwards here, I want to look in to see if Jesus could be a viable option. You know, that differential, but he's just too expensive. And I was just like, I might consider him as my switch, you know, to be differential. But for right now, I'm leaning towards having DCL in your team. I feel like you could get some opportunities from some set pieces with him. So I'll put DCL in my team.
All right, I will keep it short. I'll go for Danny Ings, home to Villa. It's a tough game, but I think he could score. Keevo, striker for the week.
Striker for the week. I might go with DCL as well, you know. All right. Newcastle, and as you said, James is back.
I think that might be my chance. So for Kane, Gomez, finish us off on the strikers.
I was leaning toward DCL, but I'll give you something different. Ollie Watkins.
All right. So let me go now. You guys, I already give mine. Under the radar pick, somebody who owned by less than 5% of teams. You guys go ahead. I already give mine. We could start with Gomzi to give Keevo some time. Like you thinking.
Yeah, thinking.
Yeah, so this time I did my research properly this time, so I didn't get caught out with the hammers like last week. I did my research, and my under the radar pick, playing for Man City, home to Sheffield United, scored a goal and an assist last game week, Riyad Mahrez.
Wow, that's a good one. That's a good one.
I did my homework.
Yes, boy.
Oh, good. That is a pick. Oh, good. I must see what can move around in my team there, boy. Because when I see him turn up last week, I was like, oh, good.
Mahrez caused me pain this whole season, boy. Mahrez, I took off Mahrez when he scored the hat-trick, and then I brought him back on, and then he never scored again and never played. So, me and Mahrez will never play like that.
Well,
like that. Sometimes.
No. I have a player, but I have to build it up. I have to set up the stage for this one.
Go ahead.
He played 90 minutes last game. He played against a team that will give him a lot of opportunities. And I feel like he will get plenty chances in this game. And he's owned by 0.7% people. 90 minutes starting on a top 3 team. Top 2 team, Leicester City, Ayoze Perez.
All right, good one.
He's a player who I feel like if you could fit him in there, he play in midfield, but he play in the attacking role. I feel like he could bag get 2 goals. I have a good feeling on that one.
Okay. I would go with, because they're playing West Brom. He's the leader for the team. He's the energy of the team, and he is yet to find that form. And I will go with Alexander Mitrovic. Mitrovic is a man who could produce something for you.
All right.
Yeah.
So last one now before we wrap up, guys. A bold prediction for the week. Let's go. Nobody want to go first? I'll go first. Arsenal, Man United. United are going to bounce back. They're going to trounce Arsenal. It's going to be 3-1. Let's go.
Okay.
I'll go the Leicester Leeds game. I want to say, because some games, has to be ironed down. I want to go as bold as to say, I could see 6 goals or more scored in that game.
All right.
Okay, good one. West Ham, Liverpool. I think that's going to be a draw.
Don't come on this show.
You see the man in the Liverpool jacket, Keevo. Keevo, you see the man in the Liverpool jacket.
I know, but listen.
Where you see that game? Where you see that game, Keevo? Where you see that game that give you that feeling?
You see, well, first of all, you have Aaron Cresswell in form. You have Souček in form. You have Antonio in form, right? That's a team that really gone in and they basically they kind of surpassing the expectation right now. And Liverpool still finding their footing to really control games and win games outright and close off games. And I think if Liverpool, if West Ham come really hard in the first half there, Liverpool might get stressed the tail to maintain. And I don't think they will lose because remember their defense is still a rocky defense. They have no Virgil in the back there, you know. And it's Mikel Antonio.
And Matip went out today again. So it's a bunch of young. Hey, you can't tell him man for that. If Matip went out, you can't tell him man for that.
I had a bold prediction for another game, but now Keevo upset me. I don't understand. Keevo, we are going good. Anyhow, my bold prediction for this game week is the German connection at Chelsea. Timo Werner to do something against Burnley defense. I would say at least a goal. I'm not going to say 2 goals, but a goal. Timo Werner.
All right.
You've been on fire, Gomzi, so everybody, ears perk up, see what you can do to bring in.
Last thing before we get out of here, I want to let Keevo close this show. Now, every time you're in the car, you're telling everybody the top 3 things for this and the top 4 things for this and the top 5 things. Tell us some of the things fantasy players shouldn't do, because I don't know if you guys watched the show on the last episode, a man called Gomzi at 2 a.m. in the morning before the deadline. while the man in bed with his wife, don't know if it's another woman calling or what.
Oh, God.
So give us some things fantasy players shouldn't do and we're going out of here.
Okay. First thing you should not do is waste points on transfers every week, right? Manage it properly. Because if you think about losing 8 points every match week, that is 300 points you're going to lose for the whole season now, right? So try and manage that well and try to conserve your points and probably get 2-3 transfers every other week. The second thing I think you shouldn't do is don't try to risk the fact that, okay, Liverpool have a good defense, I'll buy 3 or 2 Liverpool defenders. That's a little too risky to do. It may go well, it may not go well, but in the EPL, goal scoring between teams too easily. There's hardly any shutouts in the EPL. The third thing you should do is check your match week. Sometimes the match weeks might surprise you and you forget to change your side now, boy. So, right? But what you don't do is remind any of your brethren, right? For yourself, right? You handle your business, don't tell nobody else, right? And remind them an hour before, right? But you know they can't change it. I know we're not joy for you.
All right. Thanks for coming on, everybody.
Coming on, bro.
FPL guys on Twitter, FPL_Island guys on Instagram. Keevo, get them in Instagram. Everybody should know it by now. And we're going out of here.
Yeah, KEEVO TV. Follow me on all platforms. Same thing.
Boom.
Yeah,
right,
man.
everybody, good night. Bless up.
Yo, take care.
Respect.
Good night.